What's up guys, Moses here, and I finally got the time to review my new guitar. This is the ESP Syunapper 7 signature guitar. So this guitar is custom built for the guitarist of Galneris, Sue, and he's one of my favorite guitar players, and once I've seen him starting to use more 7 strings in his music and band, I knew I had to get one. They look great and they have a lot of classiness, but they're just complete modern beasts. But I'll get more into that later on into the review. But first, as always, I'm just going to be talking about the specs first of this guitar. So we have a 7-string configuration for this guitar. We have a alder body, and we have a maple neck and maple fretboard. What I really like about these woods is that it adds a lot of snappiness, a lot of attack, and plus it being a bolt-on neck gives it that extra bite, you could say. A lot of these snappers that I have that characteristic that I personally like. I like a bit of more of a brightness and attack to the rhythm and leads. But yeah, this is a great combo of woods, and what I really like about this maple fretboard is that it's not a McDonald's yellow where it's like really like bright and more yellowish. This is more of like, I don't know, I don't want to say white, but it's definitely not yellow. It looks great, and yeah, it's fantastic. So since we talked about the woods of the guitar, let's talk about the electronics. So we have 2 Seymour Duncan pickups. We have a Nazgul and a Sentient on the neck. What I like about the Nazgul is that it's a bit more higher output and a bit more tighter than the Pegasus, which I don't really have a preference for either or. They have their own unique sound, which is something that is great because you get more than just one typical sound, right? And I really like this pickup again just because it's great for not only rhythm tones but for lead tones. It just has like a really crisp sounding type of attack. And for the neck, it's great. It's a lot of fullness, good mid-range, and very fluid sounding. We have a volume pot and a tone pot. What I like about the tone pot is it's actually a push-pull. So if you were to push it, you split the coils, getting a single coil sound. And if you can see right here, there is a black, like arcade-ish type of button, which is actually a kill switch. So every time you press it or hold it, it kills the sound. So you get type of, different, I don't know. I don't really use it too much. I know Sue does, but I might find a use for it later. But yeah, it's pretty cool to play around with. Now we have a 3-way toggle switch. Pretty standard when it comes to these type of guitars. Other than that, that's it for the electronics. They're pretty straightforward, and just having that unique kill switch button is pretty nice. Alright, let's get to the hardware now. We have an ESP Flicker, I think 3 bridge. What I like about these is that it adds a lot of mass to the guitar and a lot of resonance. This gives the guitar a lot more of a resonant sound, and it's pretty pleasing to play acoustically, just like the other snappers that I have. I know the Mikio one doesn't have the flicker bridge, it has a Floyd Rose, but the ones that do have this type of bridge, It it just feels really nice and it gives a good weight to it, and it's pretty flat when you're palm muting, and yeah, it's super comfortable and it's great. And they have brass blocks in them, so it adds even more resonance and sustain, which I personally like a lot more. Now we have Goto tuners. The thing about these tuners is that they're not locking, but even then they still stay in tune as good as their locking tuners. You can't go wrong with these Gotos or any Goto tuner in general, right? So no issues, no complaints. I wish it would have had locking tuners, but it doesn't really matter at this point. It doesn't really go out of tune, so we're good. All right. Anything else? We have a bone nut. And what I really like about the overall aesthetic of this guitar is the white. This is a pearl white. We got a white pickguard. The headstock matches the body finish, and it's great. I don't think this type of white is going to age as time goes on. It's just going to maintain that nice bright white color, which is pretty cool because having an all white guitar is, no, no, for me it's pretty classy, and it matches well with the black and the chrome and all that good stuff. All right, now going on into the neck and fingerboard and what's on it, right? We have extra jumbo frets. These are Jescar. They're not stainless. They're just regular nickel frets, but Jescar quality is probably top of the line in my opinion. The fretwork on this is fantastic. This whole guitar is built pretty damn well, which is to be expected, right? Coming from the Japanese custom shop signature series. So, you know, you cannot absolutely go wrong with something like this. Like I've mentioned before, we have a maple fingerboard. Now, what's really unique about this guitar is that it has luminlay side dots. No, not only side dot inlays, but they have them on the fretboard. So if you were to light them up with the flashlight or go out in the sun for like a minute, go to a dark room and this thing lights up beautifully. It's pretty cool. You guys should see it like when Sue plays live and whatnot. It's great, and you're definitely not going to get lost on the fretboard when there's dark, stages or whatever, right? It's awesome. Now, probably my most favorite thing about this guitar is the neck. This is much more unique and different compared to the other snappers. So a few of you asked about how does it compare to the Takayoshi, the pink 7-string, and the Mikio one. They're fairly similar when it comes to the body, but their necks are very different. This is actually the fastest and thinnest neck out of all those, and it's honestly becoming my favorite because something about it just, if you have small hands like me, it's super easy to play. The others are as well, but yeah, this is insane. It's super fast. The satin feel of this is probably the best feeling satin feel neck I've played on all my guitars. Don't get me wrong, the other ones are great, but it's just so thin, fast. It's not like an Ibanez Wizard neck, maybe just a bit thicker than that. But yeah, it's a 12-inch radius neck. It's a compound. I'm sorry. So it flattens out a little bit as you go down, but the neck profile is U, and I don't know like if the specs are accurate, or at least for the most part, but this is a very thin neck. All the necks on the snappers are listed or described as the same, but no, this is clearly more thinner, and the satin feel of this is a little faster and smoother than the other ones. And I don't know how well the camera can pick this up, but on the neck, it has these like flamed stripes that you'd find on a flamed or roasted neck. It's very subtle depending on the lighting on where you look at it, but yeah, it's just very unique, beautiful, and I'm absolutely in love with it. Other than that, The bolt-on construction on these feature a titanium ESP Custom Labs plate, which adds a bit more of that snappiness that I was mentioning earlier before. And the truss rod wheel is down here, which is perfect. You don't need to screw anything off the top. Everything, or every guitar should have something like this integrated. It's just way more convenient. That is pretty much it for the specs. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate some rhythm tones that you can get out of this guitar. So now I'm going to be talking about my final impressions about this guitar, and it's nothing but great. This is definitely like the most sought after snapper for me, because I've wanted this guitar for a very long time, for maybe about 2 years or so, but I could never find a good deal on it, and they were always super expensive, more now than before, right? But I managed to get one at a very good price. I know these are like $4,000 or $5,000. I got it for around half, and yeah, once I saw that, I couldn't pass out on it. I had to sell my Jackson Kelly, unfortunately, to help fund this, but I think it was worth it. I'm very impressed with this guitar, just like the other snappers. This one has, well, all of them have their own unique personality. This one, definitely with the whole white aesthetic and the kill switch and the probably the fastest neck out of the whole bunch, is just great. I know I can pick one up and they'll have their own unique sound, which is something that, you know, a lot of other guitar companies can't really do, especially with, you know, high-end guitars. Some of them are kind of guilty of sounding too similar. These are unique, just from the headstock all the way down to the strap button. So that's pretty much it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe, it would mean a lot. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And yeah, take it easy. I'll see you guys in the next video.